Hello. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I am here. I am ready to do our health insurance 101. Hi Helena. So many people asked me to do this video. Hi Crystal. After my get to know me video, and people have been emailing me and asking me, when are you going to do the health insurance? When are you going to do the health insurance? So I'm doing the health insurance. We're going to have a little lunch and learn. I didn't mean to trigger anybody who's at work right now. We're going to do a little lunch and learn. It's going to be very quick. I'm just going to give you the basics. If you don't know, I have been in health insurance compliance for about 8 years now. Specifically working in commercial compliance and audits. So this is a near and dear subject to my heart. I hate when I see people not understanding the insurance that they're choosing, the insurance that they have. They don't understand why they're getting a bill. They don't understand why they have to pay so much out of their pockets. It's just a lot. But now I'm going to help you. By the end of this lunch and learn, yes, please hit like on the way in. By the end of this lunch and learn, the next open enrollment, which usually happens around October, November, you will know which health insurance is best for your family. You'll know all the terms and nobody will be able to play you. And when you get to the doctor, you know exactly what to ask them. You'll know exactly what to say so that you don't get a bill in the mail. So let's go over our agenda here, shall we? What are we going to do? We're going to learn, first of all, can I have a round of applause for my PowerPoint presentation? Thank you. Putting those high school skills to work. Round of applause. Did this all myself. Thank you very much. Hi, Mary. Hi, Helena Frost. So what we're going to do, we're going to go over the common terminology, because I think terminology. I think that's where a lot of people get confused. They don't understand what the words mean when they're looking at them when they pick their health insurance. We're going to go over the network types. Another thing, a lot of people don't understand what the words mean. And health savings accounts, another word. A lot of people don't understand what the words mean. Don't understand what to use it for. A lot of people don't know that they can use their health savings account at CVS, at Walgreens. Buy your Tylenol, buy your cough drops. A lot of people don't know that. You're going to know that by the end of the day. Then we're going to have questions where I'm going to answer personal questions. If you have personal questions, you don't feel like sitting on the phone with your health insurance customer care for 4 hours, drop them in the chat. Now, this is not personal advice. This is not legal advice, because I don't know your plan specifically, but I can give you general advice. So let's get started. Terminology. The first term that you need to know in health insurance is a deductible. That seems like everybody knows what that means. People don't know what it means in the term of health insurance. People hear deductible and they think of their car, like car insurance deductible. If you get in an accident in your car today and say your deductible is $500, your health insurance will pay everything but $500. If you crash your car and the total bill is $1,200, they'll pay everything except $500. That's how car insurance works. That's not how health insurance works. A deductible in health insurance is the amount that you will pay before your insurance will pay a dime. And that always confuses people, because they go to the doctor and they get the bill and they say, like, I thought I had insurance. And we go, you do. And you still have to pay this $600 bill. If your deductible is $500 in health insurance, that means you have to amass $500 in medical bills before your insurance will pay. I'm going to stop there. Does that make sense to everybody? You have to pay. I mean, you don't have to pay, because the health insurance doesn't care whether you pay the bills or not. You have to be billed $500 worth of medical expenses before your insurance will pay anything. What does that mean? That means if you go to the doctor and you have a $500 deductible, let's say you've had no medical issues so far, you haven't had any bills. So your deductible is still $500 for the year because, mind you, they recycle every year. Your deductible is $500 for the year. That means you go to the doctor and the doctor bills you $123. You're going to pay $123 because you have not met your $500 deductible. A lot of people will be like, why am I paying $123? Where's the discount? Now, depending on whether that's an in-network provider, we'll get there. The $123 is the discount, but you're going to pay all of it because you haven't met your deductible. Let's move on. Then there's things called copays, which are not counted towards your deductible. But copays, usually for low deductible plans, you have a copay for an office visit, which is where you just call the doctor. I need to come in because my throat is scratchy. I need to come in because I got this weird bump on my leg. Usually copays range anywhere from $5 to $100, and they're a set amount that no matter what the bill is, you're only going to pay the copay. So if you go to an office visit and you had a weird rash on your wrist and they had to do an x-ray and they had to do some blood draws and they had to do all this other thing, if your office visit copay is $25, you're going to pay $25. They don't care what the actual bill is. They could charge $700 for their office visits. But if your health insurance copay says you have a $25 office visit copay, you pay $25. If you have a $100 ER visit copay, they could charge you $12,000 in the ER. You're only going to pay $100. That doesn't count towards your deductible, but you only pay $100. Co-insurance, different from copay, and I think people get those two terms mixed up. A copay is a set dollar amount you'll pay for a specific service, and that'll be outlined in your medical plan, what your copays for certain things are. Your co-insurance is a percentage that the health company will pay after you've met your deductible. Let's use it in a sentence. You have a $500 deductible and you have a 50% co-insurance. Okay, everybody with me? You go to the doctor, you have a $600 bill. Okay, you have to pay $500 of it because you have not satisfied your deductible. So you'll pay a full $500. And then that last $100, because you've satisfied your deductible, you're only going to pay your co-insurance, which is 50%. So you're going to pay $550 for that $600 medical visit. I'm going to stop there. Does that make sense to everybody, or are we lost? First of all, I feel like medical insurance is purposely confusing. I hate that that's the case. But it's not that you don't get it, and it's not that you're not smart enough to get it. It is made to be confusing. We're going to move on. In-network means that your health insurance has a network of providers that they contract with. If they're in-network, you're going to get the lowest medical price. Doesn't mean it's going to cost less. I mean, it is going to cost less, but it doesn't mean you're going to pay less. But if you go to an in-network provider, it will cost you less than if you go to an out-of-network provider. Out-of-network means this particular doctor, dentist, eye doctor does not have a contract with your health insurance. Who do you have health insurance with? Blue Cross, Cigna, United Health, whoever. If your particular doctor does not sign a contract with that health company, they are out of your network. And you will be charged the regular amount they charge for services. Now, some insurance companies do have an out-of-network amount they will pay, but it's not going to be anything close to what they'll pay if you went in-network. Out-of-pocket max means the amount It's the maximum amount you'll pay for medical services. It's you, depending on which insurance company you have. It could be $15,000. It could be $20,000. That means, if we add up your deductibles that you pay, your copays that you pay, your co-insurance that you will pay, your insurance company says if you reach this amount within a calendar year, you will have 0 medical bills. Now, it's usually an astronomical amount that nobody without any serious medical issues will ever reach, but it's there. There is an amount that you can get to where you no longer have to pay for medical services. Again, it's usually an astronomical amount that nobody ever gets to because nobody goes to the doctor that much, because nobody wants bills that much, but it is there. Of course, the premium is the amount that you pay every month for your medical services. Usually people get their medical services either through their job or through the marketplace. So what you pay every month, one second. I'm sorry, I had to fix Roblox. Where were we? We were at premium. That's the amount you pay for your medical services. If you get health insurance from your job covers a portion of it, and you pay a portion of it out of your check every month, or every 2 weeks, or however it's covered. If you get it from the marketplace, you pay every month. Preventive services. Thanks to Obama, preventive services shouldn't cost you a dime. We're going to get more into it when we talk about what you need to say to your doctor when you go, so that you don't get a bill later. But preventive services are like your yearly physical, your yearly PAP, depending on how old you are, your mammograms. If you're a man, your colon screening. Like, all of that is preventive services that are covered 100% depending on the frequency. Routine physicals are covered once a year. Your mammogram, I think, is covered once every however many months. I don't know. PAPs are covered once a year. There are things that are covered. You have to look them up on your health insurance, but they should cost you nothing. If your health provider is charging you for preventive services, you need to look into that. Preventive services should cost you $0. Now, what they will try to do is add services on while you're there for your preventive, and you have to stop that. Because if you say, I'm here for my yearly physical, and they say, oh, okay, well, it looks like your knee was, did you say something about your knee? You go, no. That's not why we're here. We're here for my preventive visit. Because if you go outside of what a routine visit looks like, it then becomes an office visit. And depending on what kind of health insurance you got, it could cost you upwards of $200. If you're there for your routine physical, let them do the routine physical. If you go in there and start talking about something else, they will change that visit to something else, and then it's going to cost you. Don't let them do that. That's right, MD. Always. Now, I'm not talking about those headaches right now. We'll come back later for that. Right now, we're just doing the physical. It is interesting, and sometimes it's sneaky. Sometimes it's warranted based on what you say in the doctor's visit. But if they have to bill a code outside of preventive, it turns into an office visit, and we don't want that. We don't want that. All right, where are we going next? We're going to the network types. Now that we've gone over the terminology, we're going to the network types. When you choose a health insurance, you can either choose a PPO, an EPO, or an HMO. These 3 network types really be having people in a chokehold. They really don't. They really don't understand what's going on. In my personal opinion, now this is not advice. This is not advice. It depends on where you live. It depends on the medical issues you have, and it depends on what is best for your family. My personal opinion is I always choose to pick a PPO for my family. Um, and it's just more convenient for me, right? When you choose a PPO, you pay less if your provider is in your health insurance network. But you can also go out of network and they'll pay for that. They'll just pay less for it. And that's why PPO is usually the more beneficial for me, because while I have my primary care physician, um, might not want to see them for a certain thing, or I don't know, for whatever reason, or my daughter, I might have to run her to a random urgent care because she fell because she has no balance whatsoever. Um, so I choose a PPO because I can just walk into whatever provider I want to. Now they can be in my network or out of my network. I know that my insurance will pay something. They'll definitely pay less if it's out of network, but they'll pay something. Contrast to an EPO, which is an exclusive provider network. While these are usually cheaper monthly, or however you pay, monthly, weekly, however you pay for them, you can only go to providers in your network. You can go outside of your network, but you're going to pay 100% of the cost. It's almost like you don't have insurance if you go to a provider that's not within your EPO. It's a smaller network. And I'm just not a fan of EPOs because it's a very small network of providers. You have to go to them unless it's an emergency. And even if they try to give you a referral out, it's really hard for you to get a referral outside of your EPO and have your insurance cover it. So while it's cheaper and depending on, sorry, Jerry, while it's cheaper, and depending on where you live, if you only go see your your personal provider and you really don't really have that many medical issues and they're part of your EPO, by all means, by all means. If you live in a bigger area, a city area, I think PPO is better because you never know when you might have to run into an urgent care or have to be referred out to some sort of specialist. HMO is sort of like a PPO, but they do have a smaller network of providers. They may limit some providers that are outside of that network, and you always need a referral for an HMO. If you're an HMO, they may cover people outside of your network, but you always need a referral. And because I like to do what I want, I choose a PPO because sometimes I don't want to ask you for a referral. I just want to go see who I want to see. What's an affordable insurance for a full-time college student? I don't know. You should go on the marketplace when open enrollment comes back up, usually around October or November. There's a marketplace for insurance and they have all the prices listed out, and you may be able to get a subsidy as a college student where it costs you nothing or very little. I don't know specifically which one that is, but you'll have all these terms, so you will be able to know which one is better for you. So keep that in mind. Where are we going? We're going to health savings account. Health savings accounts also be having y'all in the chokehold because a lot of people don't know what they are and don't know what they're used for, and so they feel like they don't need them. You may not need them, but they're very helpful. Health savings account allows you to take, usually it's through your job, but it could be your personal health savings account. So, but if you have it through your job, which is where most people see it, but when you get your net pay, you decide how much of that money you want to be pulled out and put into a health savings account. It's before your money is taxed. They take that money out and put it in a health savings account. Now, you can only have this if you have a high deductible plan, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But you take that money out, you put it in your health savings account, and then you use that money to pay for medical expenses. And because you have a high deductible plan, meaning you have a high amount you have to pay before your insurance will start paying, if you've already had this money set aside pre-tax, you don't even have to worry about it. But people think you can only use your health savings account as a doctor. No. That's not true. You can use your health savings account on Amazon. You can use your health savings account at CVS. You can use your health savings account at Walgreens. You can use your health savings account wherever they sell medical equipment. You don't have to just go to the doctor. You can buy a Band-Aid with your health savings account. You can go buy Tylenol with your health savings account. Now, there are a few companies. I worked for a company way back in yesteryear that just put money in your health savings account for you to use however you see fit. If you have money in your health savings account and you decide, you know what, I had a medical bill a year ago that was $300, you can just pull the money out of your health savings account. It's a savings tool, but also I need people to know that it's not just a doctor tool. You can use your health savings account wherever they sell medical equipment. You go to CVS and you buy your Tylenol and your pads and your gauze and whatever. You use your health savings account for that, especially if your employer is funding it. Now, it should roll over, but sometimes at your job it won't. I want to wear this for the beach. 1 second. She's talking about a bathing suit she wants to wear. So with that, I will take questions. But before I do, I want to sort of kind of give an example of all the things we talked about and where I have the most questions usually. I usually have the most questions about deductibles. People don't understand deductibles. Again, I explained it earlier. If you're just coming, go ahead and rewind. But what people need to understand about their deductible, when you're choosing health insurance, you need to choose your deductible based on your lifestyle, based on if you have children, if you think you're about to have a baby, if you have a lot of medical issues, if you have a kid in sports who usually like to break their bones. You need to think about all of that when you're looking at a health plan. Because if you choose a high deductible plan because it's cheaper, it usually is. High deductible plans are usually cheaper monthly or weekly or however you pay for them. But they're higher every time you go to the doctor. It's not that less is covered. And I think that's where people usually run into the problem. It's not that less is covered with a high deductible plan. It's that you're going to be paying more for covered services because you have such a high deductible. If your deductible is $7,000, that means you have to amass $7,000 of medical bills before you'll see your insurance pay anything. And if you're just a person who only goes to the doctor for your routine physical or maybe a cough, that might be good for you because you don't have medical bills anyway. The routine physical is free, and you maybe go to the urgent care once a year. High deductible plan might be better for you because you're going to be paying less for it every month or every week, and you don't go to the doctor enough to have a bill bother you. But if you have kids who are always sick, always catching something, or a kid in sports who's bound to break his leg, or you're just a hypochondriac who runs to the doctor for every freckle, you should never choose a high deductible health plan. I know it's cheaper and it looks enticing. It looks enticing. Yes, I will do a part 2 about Medicare because Medicare gets crazy in there. Yes, thank you. Make sure you guys are liking and subscribing. A high deductible health plan is enticing, especially if you're getting it from your job, because they give you a list of health plans and they give you the 3 to compare, and then you see this one over here and this one is only $60 every 2 weeks, and that's real enticing because you don't want nobody else taking your money. This one over here is $130 every 2 weeks, and you're like, I'm gonna go with the 61. But if you have children, if you have all this stuff going on, a high deductible plan is usually not going to be better for you because you're going to have to pay for $7,000 worth of medical expenses. Have you ever been to an emergency room with the child with the broken arm with a high deductible health plan? You're going to get a bill for about $3,000, and you're going to be fully responsible for it. You go with the low deductible plan if you have all those things going on. Now, yes, it's going to be more out of your pocket every 2 weeks or every month. It's going to be more. But I'm going to go back up to the terminology so you guys can kind of sort of follow along with what I'm talking about. The low deductible plan is going to be more, but if you have a lot going on, children, kids, babies, you're thinking about having a baby, you go to the hospital, you have ailments, you run to the doctor every time you see a freckle. A low deductible plan is what you need, because usually a low deductible plan has copays, it has a low co-insurance, and you're going to pay by the time if you go to the doctor a bunch and you have a deductible of $300, you're going to reach that deductible in no time. And now you're not paying for health costs anymore. So you really need to figure out what your life looks like. I know that it's enticing to pay less more frequently, but sometimes it's not worth it. Your ankle surgery bill just came back at $60K. That's insane. They'd have to come take my ankle from me. I'm sorry, Charm Free. But they can have the ankle at $60K. And I want to know why that's $60K. Did you have insurance? What kind of insurance did you have? Because that's a lot. That just happened to me. 2 kids, 3 ER visits in 2 weeks. Exactly. And just imagine if you have a high deductible plan and that happened to you, that could be crippling. The debt that you get from 2 ER visits could be crippling. If you have a $10,000 deductible, you have to meet before they'll pay. PPO, 4K deductible. That's a high deductible plan. 4K is a high deductible. But you can choose a high deductible plan and then something crazy happens, like you break your ankle. You don't mean to break your ankle. So, you really have to weigh. You have to weigh what might be better for you. For me, I usually choose a middle of the road. I have 2 daughters. One's very small. And when my daughter was playing softball last year, I had a lower deductible, but she's not playing softball anymore. She's not doing that much running, jumping. So I just kind of go middle of the road, because I don't know what I would do if I got a $60K medical bill, Charm Free. I might just move to Mexico. $5K. Tell them to get it back in blood. I wouldn't dare. Okay. But I hope did that help at all? Is there confusion anywhere? Let me know what you want me to dive deeper into, and I saw someone ask me to do a part 2 on Medicare and COBRA. I will, because Medicare can be confusing, and there's been a lot of changes with this new administration and Medicare. So I'll definitely. Can you guys hear my daughter back there on the microphone? All of a sudden she's Mariah Carey. I don't know what that's about. I don't know what that's about, but I hope that this helps. And of course it's going to be up for you to replay. Open enrollment is usually around September, October. That's when you have to choose your health insurance, usually at work, usually in the marketplace, unless you have a life event. Life event meaning you get divorced, or you get married, or you have a baby, or you adopt a baby, or somebody dies. That's the only time you can change your insurance in the middle of the year. Otherwise, you have to wait till open enrollment. I had a brain surgery in 2004. Oh, wow. I was 24 in the hospital, wrote it off. Good. That's amazing. They will do that. Let me tell you something. Now this is on the back side. Is this a safe space? This is a safe space. Hold on one second. It's too loud. Can we have a sec? What I was gonna say outside of prying ears. If my medical bill is over $1,000, it's gonna be looking at me. I'm gonna be looking at it. It's gonna be looking at me. I'm gonna be looking at it. Cause what? No, no. I didn't tell you to stitch that arm up. You could have left it. I'm just joking. But sometimes these and I will say this too. You guys should go over your medical bills with a fine tooth comb. You should go over your medical bills with a fine tooth comb. You will be surprised how often I have seen providers, and it's not the providers. I will say this: it's not the providers. So let me get off of the doctors too much. They just chart. They don't do the billing. Their billing goes off to the medical billers, and the medical billers try to decipher what they've done to you and then put codes in the system, and that's what you're billed. But you should go over your ask for a detailed bill and go over it and see what they did. And I guarantee you, most times you will see at least 2 or 3 codes that you can get off of there. And if they won't take them off, you guys need to be utilizing your appeals process. If you have health insurance, you have health insurance appeals process. You need to figure out what that is. Go to your health insurance website, go down, figure out where the appeals are. And when you figure out a code that you don't like on your medical bill, you write in an appeal to your medical insurance company. And you say, this is what I had done. I don't know what this code is, and I'm not paying for it. 9 times out of 10, you'll get a new bill. Now, that's just inside information. Don't take it to heart. I'm just letting you know how it goes. 9 times out of 10, you get a new bill. I have seen a lot of people who don't know they can appeal these things. They can appeal these things. Like I was telling you earlier, you go in for a preventive visit and they start doing something else that you didn't ask them to do. Appeal. When you get that bill, send it into your insurance company. Say, I went in for a routine visit. I don't know what all this other stuff is. 9 times out of 10, you get a new bill. Make sure you guys are utilizing all your resources. And appeal is a big one. Every single insurance company has a whole department set aside for grievance and appeals. Make sure you're sending in your appeals if you get a bill you don't like. Can I do a segment for entrepreneurs? I'm not sure what you mean. Might do a segment for entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are usually getting their insurance from the marketplace. And again, it's going to be what fits your life. If you're a single man, single woman, no kids, no real health issues, no real ailments to speak of, I would get a high deductible health plan. And I would utilize my preventive visits. Preventive visits cost nothing. As long as you have health insurance, preventive visits cost you nothing. That means you get a yearly physical, you get a yearly colon screening depending on your age, you get a yearly PAP if you're a woman. You get all these things already. Matter of fact, I'm going to look it up for you guys right now. The preventive service list. I'm going to look it up and I'll tell you what they are. If you're a single person with no real health issues to speak of, there's no reason for you to be paying $500 a month for health insurance. It's just not worth it. Let's see. We are looking up the CMS, which is the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services. They really are the ones who set these precedents and what's prevented and what's not.
Mommy, I spilled everything on the floor.
Okay, I'll pick it up in a second.
Okay.
Boom, 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 boom. They're not making it easy for me to find, and I can't use my I can't give you my work info. But I told you this stuff is not, it's not meant to be easy. Like, they don't make it easy. So here we go. Let's add to the stage. Here we go. These are all the preventive screenings that you get for free. If you have health insurance, these screenings are free. They don't cost you anything. You can go get all these things free. It's what the CMS has decided. These are preventive services, meaning they're trying to stop and trying to get ahead of issues you may have. What is that? That's depression screening, diabetes screening, HIV screening, all of your vaccinations, all of your kids' vaccinations, your preventive exam, cervical cancer screening, colorectal cancer screening, pelvic exam, of course, your pap smear, your mammogram. I think some of these are based on age. I think mammogram is 44, I believe. Prostate screening, I think maybe like 30, maybe even 40. I'm not sure. But all these are free. If you're a single man, single woman, not many health issues, you don't really go to the doctor like that, but you want to, be healthy, you're a woman, you just want your physical and your pap every year. That's pretty much the only time you go to the doctor. You may go into an urgent care if you're really that bad. Get a high deductible plan. Pay less for it. You're covered if something astronomical does happen, but you're not paying. You're not going to the doctor anyway, so you don't need to have. You don't need to pay that much for it because you're getting your preventive services anyway. Mammogram is 40. I thought it was something like that. Health insurance, when people ask me about things in health insurance, I understand how it could be so confusing. I've been doing it for a long time, so it's just in my head, but I can still see how all of this can be confusing. Like I said, people for some reason associate deductible to car insurance deductible, and it's not the same. People have no idea what a copayment is and why is it different from a co-insurance. And how would you know? How would you know? Where would you learn this information? But it's information you need to know because everybody needs health insurance. Because if you don't have it, those bills will come at you fast. So I hope this helped. I will do a part 2 on Medicare. I got to find some time. Medicare is a lot more in depth, so that may be a longer video. I'll stay for a couple minutes, or let me scroll up through the comments and see who had questions, because I wasn't ignoring you. The Medicare is confusing, Mrs. Smith. It's very confusing. It's changing all the time. This is her question. I'll put it up here. It's changing all the time. We really get like alerts where I work once a week with something that has changed in Medicare. They cut a lot of it. I think Trump just signed a bill cutting a lot of Medicare. And so, and it's sad because the older generation are not set. They're not on Twitter, which is where they're trying to give Medicare information out all of a sudden. Like you would never get my grandma on Twitter. So yeah, it is confusing. A lot of older people do a Medicare Advantage plan to supplement some of that cost, but some people can't afford it. So yeah, we'll do a part 2 about Medicare because it's hard to keep up with, and if I can't keep up with it sometimes, I know I don't expect my 80-year-old grandmother to keep up with it. It just is unfair. Dental insurance is a whole other ball game because I don't know who decided and when and where they decided that my teeth and my eyes weren't a part of my whole health. I don't know who did that, but it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. And dental insurance is usually it's only usually 2 options, and one is a PPO, one is an EPO, and it don't matter. It's still high. It don't matter. Dental insurance is some of the highest medical costs ever. I feel like you could break your arm and your leg and it still will cost less than if you needed a root canal and a tooth pulled. It's like, why is it so expensive? Why is it so expensive? I should not go into debt to keep my teeth healthy. Like, it's crazy. Elderly hearing aids, no coverage. I would wonder what kind of health insurance you have, because health hearing aids should be covered now. We're still behind. I think a lot of health insurance carriers are still behind the times, so they're not carrying the new improved, better ones. Or they only have a certain allotment of money that you could spend on them, which gives you the older ones. Same difference. But I didn't think they were not covered. Dental hygiene can lead to so many other things. Why isn't it part of health? It should be health insurance should include all of it. Eyes too. Although my vision insurance is pretty good, I can't see past my arm, so they cover a lot. But dental insurance is a scam. And I got 2 kids, so I know. One had braces, and I can tell this little one's gonna need braces. It's gonna put me in a poorhouse. It's gonna put me in the poorhouse. It's ridiculous. Did y'all know I wanted to be a dentist though? When I went to law school and I had to take the bar, first of all, I think the bar is torture. I think the bar exam is a torturous experience, and I think it should be outlawed. But I digress. When I went to law school and I was studying for the bar, I said, if I don't pass the bar exam, I'm going to dental school. And I don't want to be a dental hygienist because I got to do it big. I was going to go be a dentist because I was not taking the bar exam more than once, but I passed. So here I am. Not talking plus mouth. Heck no. What is it? I think you misspelled something. But yeah, I wanted to be a dentist because dentists, listen, y'all know I had a baby at 19. When I was in law school, she had braces. I said, somebody's making all the money and it ain't me. Somebody's making all the money and it ain't me. So if this law school thing don't work out, I'm going to go be a dentist. Somebody's getting the money, and it's got to be the dentist. It's got to be the dentist. Unless I take my kids for a cleaning, the only thing that does not cost me money at the dentist is a cleaning. Everything else costs me hundreds of dollars. And I have insurance. I work for the health insurance company. I have great insurance. And every time I go to the dentist, it costs me hundreds of dollars. My smallest daughter had what I guess was forming a cavity, and two of her back teeth. $400. At this time, she was 3. I wanted to say, take them out. Ain't they falling out anyway? Are they about to fall out anyway? Snatch them up out of there. But $400. Yeah. I was going to be a dentist. I was going to be a dentist. I know. Isn't that the perfect life? A lawyer and a dentist. I'd be making him do all kind of stuff every time I felt the ick just to get back at the rest of them. All right, let me scroll up and get some of these questions because I got to hop off of here because I have a meeting at work at 1. We are in the middle of all kind of audits, guys. I don't even know if I should say that, but it's driving me crazy. It's driving me crazy. Deductible total is per person or per family. Depends. If you're by yourself, it's for you. If there's two there's two deductibles usually in a family medical plan. There's a family deductible, and then each person has their own deductible. So like if you have a family of 4, your family deductible will be maybe, let's go with a low deductible plan. So your family deductible will be $1,000, but each individual person's deductible will be $300. So let's say you have a daughter, we're going to call her Jennifer. Nobody else has been to the doctor, but Jennifer going to the doctor because she keeps getting sick. Jennifer's personal deductible will be $300. So once she meets her $300, she'll start paying a coinsurance amount of whatever that is, maybe 30%, 40%. But the rest of you guys, if the bill comes in any other person's name in the family, you still have to meet your $300 deductible. Now, if Jen goes to the doctor enough where she has met the whole family deductible of $1,000, then she meets it for everybody in the family. So now everybody in the family is going to start paying a coinsurance amount and no longer have to meet their deductible. Let me know if that makes sense. So there's both. There's a family deductible, and every single person has their own deductible to meet, but one person can satisfy the family deductible for everybody. That makes sense. Okay. I'm getting quotes for 30, 40 grand for bottom dentures only. Listen. I take all these teeth out of my mouth before I pay 30 or 40,000. You're just going to have to gum it. Like how are people paying? Listen, don't get me started on the dentist. Don't get me started on the dentist because I think that's crazy and I think it's inhumane. I think it's inhumane to make somebody pay $30,000 for teeth. But I hope that made sense. So there's both family deductible, personal deductible. Let me scroll up and get the rest of these questions that I missed. I think I answered this, but I'll answer it again. Open enrollment is October, November-ish. You can get it from the marketplace, but I think somebody else answered your question in here as well. Some colleges offer a health insurance plan, so you should ask your school. And then they usually have a clinic on campus that you can just go to if you don't have insurance. But if they're forcing you to have insurance, then they should offer it to you. They should offer it to you. And if you're under 26, you can stay on your parents' insurance. If that's an option. If that's an option. What is a DHMO? That's a dental HMO. Like Kaiser. I'm not sure what that means, Kaiser, but dental. DHMO means dental. That's a dental plan, and it means you can only go to these certain dentists that will be covered for you. Otherwise, it's not going to be covered. You can pay out of pocket, but it's not going to be covered by insurance. But like we were just saying, it doesn't matter if you got insurance or not. The way they be charging. The way they be charging, who cares if you have insurance? But a DHMO is a dental HMO plan. Let's see. Let's see what the questions are. Yes, guys, make sure you're liking, commenting, subscribing. And of course, this will be up for replay. So if you have a question and you forgot, or you need to go back and see something, make sure you watch it. If you have a question after I get off, if you think of something, write a note in the comments of this video, and I will try to respond to you. Let's see. Yep, this right here. That's an excellent idea for young people. They skip signing up for insurance, but the high deductible plan taking exactly. A lot of young people will just not buy insurance because they're like, I don't want to pay, it's too high. But high deductible plans aren't that. I mean, they cost something, but take advantage of your preventive health. Just have it. And if something catastrophic happens too, you'll still have it. But yeah, I think a high deductible plan is a great idea for young people, single people, people who are just naturally all around healthy. I would say get some sort of insurance. And also, you guys, a lot of people don't know. I don't know if they know, but the marketplace insurance is great. Like I was telling, I think her name was Ashley. For those type of people as well, those single people, those not doesn't have health insurance through their work. There's a lot of subsidies that you can get from the marketplace for being a college student, for being a single mother, for being all types of things. You just have to look for them when the open enrollment happens. All right, guys, I'm going to hop off here because I have a meeting at work. I hope this helped. I will come back and do a part 2 with Medicare because, again, it changes so rapidly and so often, especially with this new administration. I don't know how anybody's keeping up, and it's happening to the most vulnerable amongst us. So I will try to do something to just give the basis of Medicare and what's best and what you should look out for. But I hope this helps. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We will be back to court on Tuesday. Also, we are still having our raffle. All your super chats, all your Venmos, all your super stickers, all your cash apps, everybody is entered into a raffle to win some of our merch, and you will become our one and only quality control manager. So make sure you're still doing that. I appreciate everybody for joining me. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Have a good holiday weekend. I hope it's warm where you are. Michigan has been doing us bold on the holiday weekend. Isn't this supposed to be the beginning of summer? What is going on? I'm sorry, I'm very upset about that. I like to think I'm a summer baby. I'm not. My birthday's in October. But I love the heat and the summer, and they are not giving it to us. I don't know what's going on up here, but it is cold. And it's supposed to be the beginning of summer. But anyway, have a good holiday. Have a good day. I will see you guys on Tuesday with the craziness of court. And I hope this helped. Bye, everybody.